the laning phase, because like Beastmaster is primarily used for his double balls in the lane to control up the lane.
And just mess with the supports, get aggressive on the pole.
Yeah, so like maybe it also just doesn't fit up against the heroes which are currently running in China.
I think he would be really good for either team right now, honestly. I don't see why he wouldn't work in a game like this.
So it does look like a Corlesh for sure here for NewBee Young.
Yeah.
They've got their support though, the Rubik, Earthshaker, Clockwork at this point definitely looks to be the offlaner.
Could also, oh, never mind.
And they could, I mean, if they could like support Clockwork and offlane Shaker, but I don't
or mid Shaker, but yeah, I was thinking offlane Shaker, but then
you're just gonna feed the Shadow Fiend a billion CS. It feels like.
I'm liking the control, but I'm worried that NewBee doesn't have any kind of follow up once that ST gets a disruption. So you start over on one target and then he disrupts up or like defensively, and then there's just nothing else to follow up. Or then you got Doppelganger as well from the PL, so he's getting away to safety, and he can jump up or like over the fissure. So at this point, I'm concerned that NewBee doesn't have enough to follow up in the early ganking. Not anywhere near the level of someone like SD and Lina.
If they force out the disruption with either fissure or lift, then they can use Split Earth as their follow up on the target. But that would be the requirement. If Shadow Demon times it well and they let him, like he lets them lift into stun and then disrupts, or disrupts when the stun is mid-animation, then you're right. They don't have too much follow-up for that.
So we're going to see the Weaver again. And to me, this is a hero that has just not been winning games at all. I don't actually know the official win rate offhand, but just anecdotally, I've seen like 5 or 6 Weaver games. He's lost every single game.
It would have been possible for like our Weaver in the last series to win.
Yeah, definitely.
But things went horribly wrong.
Maybe the hero's cursed. Maybe teams shouldn't be picking it because it's obviously got a jinx, some hocus pocus put against it.
I mean, something that Sinrin pointed out earlier is that this match is, or at least in the summon games, is more push oriented, and Weaver is. You need at least like
you need
8K gold, to do something.
Well, that's what the Weaver was able to do last game. Like he went for the early Desolator and was then able to clean up a lot of buildings, and it was just this push that he could do by himself as well, and then just come back and join the rest of his team.
He was actually very strong in that game. I think he played well too. Like it was just the team composition and a couple of misplays from honestly his teammates just kind of let him down. I think he could have really destroyed that game if they didn't have those 2-3 team fights where the Brewmaster didn't get split off.
Yeah, if the Brew kept the control, then it would have been absolutely amazing. Yeah,
I think so.
So with the draft concluded, do you guys have a favorite here? Do you prefer either draft?
The final pick was a Wind Ranger.
Yeah, looked like a core Wind Ranger, I believe.
Offlane, I think.
I'm still thinking, even without the draft, I'm still thinking Energy Pacemakers. Sorry, I keep thinking what we had before. I think they're still going to come on top, primarily because their laning phase has just been so flawless. I still want to see what happens in the mid game and how much momentum they've got, but having someone like an SD and Alina, I think, is going to really fit their playstyle.
Early dual roam, and I mean like what LGD was doing at the summit, just
0 minute TP right now. Okay, just putting words. I mean, is that worth the 100 gold investment?
Yes,
honestly.
If you don't get dewarded.
Like what? I'm just thinking, what if you just take Wind Run and just go?
It still takes a decent amount of time. They can get there first, I believe.
All right. In any case,
it's pretty good and it's unexpected. Like, when they see this campus blocked, this is probably not where you're going to try to counter. Maybe the counter ward won't even fight this one in the first try.
We saw that ward on the first or second match saying it was really effective. There was 2 sentries dropped, only got a sentry that had been blocking the camp. Never found this observer. And I think they were running a dual roam support duo. It was like I think it was the Lina Rubik game. And they could never gank because it was always obvious when the supports were gone. So, well, this time around, Rubik, Earthshaker, not really the best roaming duo by any means. I think it's less likely to have that similar impact. But all right, well, guys, any closing thoughts here before we take the reins?
I think Energy Pacemaker are the favorites too. If NewBee Young win this game, it's because they take off in the early game. I think both teams have good roaming potential. For one side, it's Rubik Shaker. For the other one, it's Lina SD. But when you look at the late game matchups here, I think EP with their 3 strong mid-game and late-game cores will probably be able to carry this through if NewBee don't get an advantage.
Toby, you agree?
I pretty much agree. I think EP have got the kill potential available up against NewBee. And the Weaver is still like that critical kind of thing. He gets disrupted, and if Lina gets the Light Strike Array, you get all the burst damage in the world, all the shackles in the world to work with. I think NewBee will have a very, very difficult time in this game unless Weaver goes beyond godlike. That's the only way I think they'll come out on top of this.
All right, let's find out if that's the case. And with that, hey Lumi, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm actually looking at the fact that if EP gets BKB, which they don't really have a lot of BKB here apart from Shadow Fiend, I don't think there's much that NewBee can do about the... Like, for example, if Shadow Fiend goes BKB first, which I don't think he will do, what do you actually do to Shadow Fiend?
You can kite and control them to some extent, but you're right that they do not have much damage that goes through BKB.
Yeah.
So that's where cogs come into play. Maybe you just try and fissure block them away, but...
I mean, we're still really early to talk about that, but...
We're going to see Fan getting aggressive here. They're running that safe lane PL. And looking at NewBee, the other issue is they have decent ways to deal with the PL illusions, but I wouldn't say it's exceptional by any means. Echo Slam, bit unreliable, very long cooldown. Oh, they did try to make a go here on the mid lane. Actually, S-Triple-C just getting aggressive. He'll be disrupted.
I don't think he'll die.
One raise?
Oh, C raise.
Double
C
raise?
raise?
Oh, just out of range there. Might have had uphill miss as well.
Yeah.
That was a close call.
Really good play by the Shadow Demon. So he wasn't just there to actually help him out, but he's also double stacking the two camps, which we didn't see the safe the other Shadow Fiend games. There wasn't as much emphasis on the jungling.
Yeah, I think in at least one of those games there was a Darkseer who was kind of competing for the jungle camps as well. So, of course, Radiant Shadow Fiend a little bit easier to get that early stacking going. It's off to a pretty good start here. We are going to see the Shaker doing some stacking for Lesh as well, it appears. Or thinking about it for now, hiding out in the woods. Both teams can clear stacks fairly well. Mainly the Leshrac for NewBee. For EP, you've got a better overall wave clearing lineup, I would say. But there's some flash farm potential here across the board. Pretty early even start as far as CS goes. Slight lead, it looks like, for the Radiant squad. Shadow Fiend having a really good time, though. Already 9 and 8. Did get a tiny bit of support early on, but I mean, when a Shadow Fiend's already got 19 last hits at 2 minutes,
with 2 triple stack camps waiting for him.
He's this old lease on life real soon.
I guess he messed up the medium camp stack. But this is you guys brought up Brewmother on the drafting stage. This is where if you had an offlane Brew that's putting a ton more pressure and forcing the support to stay there, like the Shadow Demon cannot get away as easily stacking that triple camp.
Yeah, whereas the
Clockwork, he just sits there and tries to get experience and whatnot.
Yeah, he just kind of passively soaks it up. I mean, Darkseer to some extent, I think, has a similar impact depending on the matchup. This game might not be the best for him with Disruption to Light Strike Array, but yeah, for now, NewBee Youth, running the Lesh as a core, it does really take away a lot of their offensive potential. And to me, that's one of the worries about the way they drafted for the landing stage is you've got Rubik and Earthshaker, both of whom are really good setup heroes, but there's no real good follow-up. Like Alina, even an Ancient Apparition for the high damage output to some extent, Leshrac if he's in a support role. They're trying to make goes on mid, and I guess that's the one way they can look to find kills. Fissure into the Split Earth, but they just are not able to connect on the initiation. And with Shadow Demon Park mid, that's a very low percentage play anyway.
Oh, Weaver's doing some shenanigans up top. The Bug's actually on the Wind Winner for a long time, and the Wind Ranger might actually go down here, yeah.
Well, there was a Wind Ranger there.
Yeah.
And you blinked and she's gone.
Well, nobody blinked, but Perfect World did, so.
The server blinked.
Yeah.
Looks like there might be a wraparound here from the Shadow Demon towards bottom as well. And, oh, there you go. First blood, man.
Well played.
Nice.
Okay, that was actually a straight-up solo kill, right? Like, the supports weren't even there, so...
Yeah. Weaver, to me, is one of the best heroes to punish Windrunner, because you stay on her while she Windrunner. They actually got him in the end.
Did you not see the demon in your gaze? Thank you.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And it's off.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Incoming.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is
Who
under
knows?
attack.
Well, welcome to perfect.
Games, for example, they have the same thing. Toby's not.
To nature's foulest cloister.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
"迅速抱团，战斗力很强。
是
这个打
50级。Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That was hot.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Took some creative liberties
Yeah, we
with
did.
what we.
Radiant's top tower has been denied. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Action. Let's get it on.
Let's see what we got.
Rock it on.
Let's look at that couch stream.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
All is mine. Your soul is
So cold.
sweet ablution.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you need to be contributing here too.
No, I'm terrible at that.
Right, so Toby
what do you
didn't-
think we are? Like your puppets? You can pull our strings.
No, I'm
Okay,
just
it's actually
suggesting.
it's actually harder because there's 7 people there.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, it's so easy to do what LD's doing. It's like, oh damn it! Now it's impossible.
Okay, we're back.
I will.
Good luck. All right, so we're 10 minutes in. Scores 500. We're literally 10 minutes in. And I have no idea what's going on. Looks like T1 went down on the top lane, which I'm sure Weaver had a lot. Item choice-wise, looks like he did go for the strength treads, which is kind of the much safer position 1 build.
So, Ring of Health picked up. Is this a Linken's build? The Linken's build feels like it's dead and buried at this point.
I mean, what are you really Lincoln-ing against, right? Like offensive disruption?
Shackle, I guess.
Yeah, but
Phantom Lance.
it just doesn't seem like it's something that you need to really worry about.
Well, that's the thing, is Ring of Health is a very expensive, just casual pickup.
Right.
So. We'll see. For now, there's a bit of a wraparound brewing. They get off the 2-hero fissure. They're going to lift Led, drop him back down onto LT. Weaver coming in, gets shackled to the trees. Can they burst him down with a double raise? No, the second one off the mark. Piao will scurry away. The hook comes raining in. Old chicken, not gold chicken. He gets pushed back a little bit, trying for some additional raises. Another fissure on 2. Very nicely played here by the Earthshaker. Time-lapse comes out. He almost dies anyway. Does end up falling to the death requiem of the Shadow Fiend. No mercy here for that Weaver from his own teammates. They drop the cogs. Ends up being a 2 for 2. NewBee Youth looking to retreat out. And it seems they will make it out in the end for now. And SCCC comes from the sideline. Almost finishes off Vlad. Very aggressive in his movements. Just the casual TP out. There will be no more pursuit.
That self-earn saved himself. Like, he would have died without it. Can I check if Weaver has the magic wand? He did. I really like the fact that NewBee actually went to gank on the top lane, the Weaver's lane, because what we saw out of TI3 a lot, where Hervols just went on tier with his Weaver, was participating in a lot of early game fights, and that's exactly what we saw. So NewBee ganking that lane. Normally when you have Weaver, he kind of just sits in AFK farm and doesn't contribute much, but that's one way for the Weaver to contribute. Unfortunately, he did die, even with a Strength Tread and Magic Wand, but hopefully the next couple of fight goes a little bit better for them.
All right, EP gonna post up here on the tier 1 top lane. There is a hook shot available. Maybe something they can look to apply pressure with, but already the Force Staff is there.
What's your opinion on Wind Ranger not picking up his ultimate?
Well, I'm being distracted by the Romanian in my ear.
It's okay.
But
we're pros.
No problem, guys. Out comes the Phantom Lance, as Fan will get pushed back a little bit. They're gonna work on the tier 1. We'll see MK trying to hold the line for now. They do have that hook shot, but again, with the Force Staff, it's like you really have to just burst the Wind Ranger before she can even pop it. And that seems a difficult play to make.
Mech is down, so if they want to make a play, this is the time to go. But like you said, can't really depend on the Force Staff too much. I guess she's just looking to kind of repel this push and delay it as long as possible to allow the Weaver to get some farm going on somewhere else, which is, conveniently pushing on the bottom lane.
And they are trying to apply that pressure, but out comes the Lance. Piao going to be forced back a little bit. Pretty defensive posture from both teams here. We're not really seeing anyone go on offense, and this is where the Shadow Fiend is just a happy camper. He is by far your leader in net worth. Mech already out, BKB on the way, and Lumi, it's something that you mentioned even before the game began, is what does NewBee do once the Shadow Fiend gets a BKB? And the answer is basically nothing until Weaver gets super farmed.
Yep. Which he's not really doing too well. Like, unlike a Shadow Fiend, you don't have a big stack that you could clear instantly. So I don't know what the plan is for the mid game.
Let's see what the adjustment is. For now, they are on the smoke again. Piao trying to clear out this mid wave. Down in bottom, Piao's doing a bit of pressure of his own. Fan probably going to back off now. To go for the early drums. There's your hook to start things off. On Old Chicken doesn't have the BKB yet. Has the mech, but he's not going to be able to get off a spell. That is a crucial takedown by NewBee. Down the sidelines for 45 seconds. Going to be a very big swing in gold, experience, and with this, they may even be able to take a tower mid.
They're going to try, yeah.
They still have the double damage up.
I don't imagine Leshrac has any points. No, it looks like he does have 1. No, 3 actually.
Oh, that's Soul Catcher Laguna. See ya!
Jeez.
That was sweet. No, I don't think they used Disruption unless we lagged horribly. Just Soul Catcher, Laguna.
Actually, did Soul Catcher even hit? Because there were a couple of creeps.
I'm pretty sure it did.
Leshrac has actually no HP early, so maybe it was just Laguna. Well, there goes that push.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's over.
Yeah.
We'll see EP just chilling out in mid. They'd still get the Shadow Fiend kill. I mean, overall, that's still, to me, at least a a slightly newbie favored trade, considering they did invest a smoke in it. I would still say, given how big that kill is, they're pretty happy. But I mean, moving forward in this game, it's one thing to try to deal with the Shadow Fiend, but EP are well positioned to play 4 Protect 1. Like, how are you going to deal with the PL army? Only Leshrac, and he's going to need the BKB that you mentioned earlier. He's also going to need a decent amount of mana to be able to consistently chew through illusions. And they don't have any other catch, really. They have the hook shot. You can just easily doppelganger away from that, jump out with a Manta style, potentially tank the battery assault with your illusion, so that's not a great option. The other main way is the Earthshaker blink, but even then it's still tough to catch and find this PL. So I feel like EP just have multiple ways to win this game. They can win it in team fights with the Shadow Fiend. They can win it from split push and just farming for late game with the PL. NewBee definitely the team that has more they need to get done over the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think just from the draft, it feels like NewBee has to outplay EP much harder to just stay on the even footing. But, you know, they have time right now, which is kind of what they need for that Weaver. Speaking of the Weaver, still leading, or sorry, third on the net worth for his team, and looks like it's going to be that Linken's build. The question is, again, what is that Linken blocking?
That is an interesting place to smoke for NewBee, and it's quickly over. Fissure coming out, they're looking for the follow-up power shot here. Shackle did come through, but they managed to burst him down in the end. Out comes the Laguna, doing about a third, half of that Leshrac's HP pool and damage. They will nuke, but Fan just going to retreat. Ultimately a smoking just for a Wind Ranger. Not bad for NewBee Youth, but the smoke wasn't what got them the kill anyway.
Yeah, they really want to fight after. Not only did they kill the Wind Ranger, well, that means they removed the Force Staff, so it lets the Clockwork do much more in the fight. With that said, though, there is still a defensive disruption, so didn't get the good angle on the hook. The problem with NewBee right now is they're getting these kills, but they're not converting much else beyond it. They really want to take this down, this mid T1.
They're trying to make a move top at the same moment. Disruption is available, but they can't get in range, and this is a big wasted journey while NewBee will take an objective.
Yeah, this is big for NewBee. They need this T1, and they will get it.
Yeah, EP have a pretty good defensive lineup. It's just, I feel like they don't need to be giving these towers up, to be honest. It's one thing to go for that kill, but generally you would see a team go for it when that mid lane's pushed out. It's a freebie I really don't think they needed to give NewBee.
Maybe they say, look, I see Weaver farming Linken's, we're fine.
Do they need... I wonder how much they're actually worried about the Weaver getting farm. At this point, Shadow Fiend and PL are both farming like madmen. Is Weaver going to out-carry them? You also have a... I mean, you have a good supporting cast here in the Lina, heavy burst damage, good lockdown from the Wind Ranger. I'm also curious if PL is going to still go for that Linken's build that we saw brewing earlier.
I mean,
yeah, he does get the Perseverance, so...
You could kind of say it from the other direction. Like, if you get the Linken's, he is actually immortal, right? Like, what are you really going to stun him with?
Yeah.
He is going to just run around the team fight.
He is difficult to kill, and
but he doesn't do anything. That's a problem.
Yes, that's where... I mean, I think that's where the Linken's build has just fallen out of favor.
Yeah.
It takes too long to come online. There's heroes like Leshrac. Like Leshrac, for example, they're on the same team this game. He's been doing stuff for minute 5, basically, and applying pressure to towers, a huge impact in team fights. Weaver going Linken's, you're looking at like the 25 to 30 minute mark when you get the Linken's +1 before he really has poses much of a threat in the fights.
But much less about the Weaver. It's the rest of NewBee that's doing a lot of work. T1 bottom destroyed, T2 down to about half health. And the map control is pretty big for NewBee right now.
They're going to look to back off here. Bloodstone now complete, only 19 minutes in. It is a good game so far for Leshrac, but not quite on the level of this Swagger Fiend. BKB's almost out. He's got a double damage room bottled. He's really king of the castle. NewBee have no tools except split pushing and dodging fights to deal with them.
It's good that they are being this aggressive right now, because once the Shadow Fiend BKB is up, that's done. Like, your aggression's over. You're now going to go back to kind of defensive farming Dota. And you know what? That Linken's is almost done. So once you get the Linken, you can start moving into Deso and whatever damage item you need next.
For EP right now, it's a PL Diffusal Blade up. So to me, they're at a point where if they want to start aggressively forcing towers, they can. PL can go deal with the Weaver split push. The rest of the team goes 4-4 on the other lane, and I don't really know how NewBee deals with that. I would like to see EP not sit back for too much longer, though. Get the Shadow Fiend BKB, it's ready now, and then start fighting around it. They almost have completed even a Yule Scepter on the Lina, which will be a nice addition. They've had the Wind Ranger forts we mentioned, can build towards another item now.
I would say that NewBee is actually pretty good at defending the towers, though.
They do
Fissure,
good spam.
Rocket, Lightning. So
It's one of those, like, you probably chip away, work on a tier 2, but yeah, you're not going to go high ground or easily claim one in one creep wave or anything like that.
Yeah.
Weaver Lincolns is coming soon, though. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe we're hating on the Lincolns a little bit too much. It's a very kind of late game centric build, but it seems like with the great defensive spells that they have, it will go to fairly late unless they get picked off.
Man, that is one thing for EP. They don't have the best pick-off. Their kill potential is either a really good Shackle or Disruption into Lena Stun.
And you're not going to count on either.
Yeah, Weaver can easily time-lapse out of that most of the time. The clock is just not a hero you want to be focusing on ganking. The supports are likely to be back.
Oh,
they are going to find Leia here. Just gets lifted and dealt with, but the turn might come now. Fan chucking out a Lance, has the Diffusal Blade ready. Quickly they bring down the Rubik, chasing for a bit more. The hook comes in from the other direction, but to what avail? They've already lost both supports on the backline. The Requiem, complete flop, but they're still hunting for 4, 5, 6. A retreat out safely. Ends up being a 2 for 2. Both side supports getting wiped out.
Yeah, the big thing is that Shadow Fiend uses BKB, and so does the Bloodstone kind of being lowered a bit. But looks like they want to pursue a little bit. I'm not sure if that's what you want, because that PL at this point with that finished Diffusal Play, it's going to be a big problem for your support. Weaver on the back line, trying to get a couple of kills here.
He's got to be careful. Yeah, he does have time lapse and stick charges. Well, continues to commit on Old Chicken. He does have the Lincolns available. Now they disrupt him, throwing out the Purge on 4, 5, 6. Piao will be forced back. Lance coming through. Does he have the mana? No. Barely. Time lapse is in the same location. Might be able to run him down with one more Lance. Fan guessed wrong, though. He thought he would head to the north, and in fact, he went a bit to the left. Old Chicken throwing out the razors. Just getting outplayed here. NewBee Young coming out on top. They barely keep Fan alive. The power shot that was stolen just off the mark. Oh, they almost had him too. Man, EP are just flat out getting outmaneuvered in the fights.
I mean, again, the Lincolns, you don't do any damage. At the same time, he's not dying, right? Also, he time-lapsed like back into an area where it got blocked out by Cogs.
Now, this is a game-changing item. They get the Shaker Blink now. Piao. No Lincolns.
I mean, hey, man, items over here.
When you have these prolonged chaotic fights, that is where the item.
The regen's really good for fights like these as well. Well, looks like MK's going to get shackled up, but he's fine.
I'm looking at the last fight. Basically, it starts with they kill the Shadow Demon walking up the hill.
Yep.
Then almost instantly they kill both NewBee supports. Clock hooked in, and it was on the Shadow feed, and it looked like it wasn't going to do anything because he just BKB'd.
It forced out the BKB.
Forced out the BKB.
Yeah.
The Requiem hit basically nothing. I don't even think it debuffed anything in the area. If it did, it was a hero that was just ran away at that point. And from that point forward, NewBee kind of had the edge in terms of like a scrappy, prolonged engagement because of the Weaver factor.
Yeah.
That's where I think for EP, they just want that more organized fight, where you get a good Requiem. Ideally, you have a 2-hero Shackle, or at least a 1-hero Shackle that nets you a clean kill. You don't start down 1 hero. To me, if EP find that kind of fight, they will come out on top. But if it's that kind of scattered, one at a time, let the Lincolns cool down type of fights, then that's where NewBee Youth can come out on top.
But honestly, I think that's the only type of fight they will get, right? Because they don't have that great initiation that you talked about. So
maybe like a Blink Dagger on Wind Rangers where they want to go next, or even just building towards a Hex. But that's going to be a ways off if that's the direction they want to go.
Or a Blink Shadow Demon, but I don't think he has the goal to support something like that. Yeah, he's just buying wards. So
he just wants to glimmer away, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying that NewBee's draft is fairly weak in the laning stage, but if you look at EP, their options in the mid game is they can't really push well because the AoE that they are trying to go up against, they don't have really good catch. So it seems like both team is just essentially forced to go late.
That is really the biggest issue is that lack of catch.
Yeah. Meanwhile, NewBee, they're actively smoke ganking. They have a ton of catch with a hook shot, with a blink fissure now.
They are trying to set something up here towards the top side of the map. Deploying an Observer Ward. They see Fan. They could unveil the Blink Dagger here. I don't believe it's been spotted. Blink Echo. If it hits, he's dead.
I think PM actually have scouted it earlier on the bottom lane when they...
It's starting to look a little suspicious. Bottom lane's pushing in. Nobody's defending that. Mid lane's pushing in. Nobody's defending that on the Dire side. And EP, no. They had 5 heroes just waiting near the top
trees. The tree strat on the left. Let's go.
The Great Tunnel. Are they going to start burrowing through here? Maybe Lesh can help clear a path for them. Might be a little suspicious. Tower shot will come out. NewBee Youth are going to back off in the end. They got a good ward up, though.
Yeah. That tree strat is actually really legit because Rubik stole the power shot, so it's just something that you really don't expect. But they'll go back, and NewBee's fine with this because they have much more item to build towards, too. There's that mid throw hammer coming out, and I imagine Leshrack's going for BKB because that again will take the PL's damage essentially out from the fight, at least to him. And then yeah, you know, things are looking fairly decent. Oh no, he's going straight blink. Wow.
It is if you just want an item that helps you split push on Lesh, I think this or BOTs are the two main items, but this one makes you a little more resilient against potential ganks.
You know, anytime you're leading a smoke gank with a Wind Ranger, you're just not having the best.
Unless it's like a blink hex,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
at least a blink Wind Ranger, but yeah, it's not ideal. She's going towards eggs, so it looks like EP are feeling like, okay, this is going to go late. We have a very strong supporting cast. Lina, excellent late game support. Shadow Demon, good defensively.
Is damage the issue though?
Not really,
I'm
but
thinking maybe Hex is better for her in this game at least.
yeah, this is an item that might help them just take towers quicker. They will find a quick hook and instantly dead. Now the chase, Fissure hits 2. It's going to block LT back, stuns his way out, tries to retreat as Piao runs for the Echo's a complete whiff, but they'll get a secondary kill here. EP, they see one hero get initiated on, they just run away, leaving the supports to die yet again, and
They got to teach you out of that though.
those supports are falling behind. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at their net worth, they had a lead for a large part of this game, but not the case any longer.
You were, I think, 5 to 10 minutes ago saying that the Yules was going to come up soon, and since then, like, at the point, she was actually farming very well, but she's been dying since, so...
She had, at that point, I think, Staff of Wizardry and gold for the Void Stone. And, oh no, she had the maybe gold for the recipe, I guess. But yeah, she's still working on that Yules, man.
And we're going to see very soon that once NewBee finished that Deso, well, now Deso, yeah, it's done, you can start actually converting kills into more towers or the Roshan. And suddenly when there's an Aegis on NewBee, then, especially on that Leshrack, geez, what are you going to do to deal with them?
Get a bigger PL. I feel like that's the main thing. Chicken is looking for a Requiem mid. It won't be the full damage.
Look at how
though.
tanky he is. He's just like, yep.
Yeah, only got him with like maybe a quarter of the souls there.
Yeah, he still has 17 wand charge. He was going to be fine.
Yeah, they saw the rune get picked up. That's why they tried to dust towards the bottom ramp, but he was out of range of that.
All right, so you're saying a very farm PL. Are you feeling this is a Scotty first or a Heart first?
I don't know. I mean,
Like, Butterfly first is out of the question, right? He just needs raw health.
yeah, Manta doesn't feel very good because the issue is the illusion's just dying too quickly right now.
Right.
So maybe Scotty right away. Could go Diffusal too, and then into something like Scotty as well.
We'll need an answer very soon. NewBee chooses to go into the Roshan pit knowing that there is no Requiem, and they'll get it.
NewBee just seems a little more confident in their movements in general here. It's EP hanging back, just letting NewBee make the plays, and they'll let them take Roche now. They are basically playing like they're on the defensive now, and with the Asages, they probably are officially at this point. How the tides have turned. There was a hook. Finds Le. He's going to self-disrupt. Old Chicken just going to TP out. The disruption will end. Le instantly brought down. Gets off a purge to little avail.
Even though no one was really close to actually cancel that TP, so Shadowfiend in theory did not have to BKB, but he knows that there's a Blink Earthshaker around, so he's just giving respect to that. But is that a 7-second BKB being used just to TP out?
That's a PL BKB, by the way.
Yeah, that's how desperate they are against the Leshrack. And yes, BKB is very good against this team, but you don't see BKB on PL too much because it's just not a very good item. It doesn't synergize with the gameplay of the hero, which is kind of high amongst your illusions, using big stats items.
I mean, look at these items. We are going to have like a game-deciding fight right now items that they're picking up. Sanjin Yasha, Shadowfiend going back for it at 30 minutes. That's very late. And then especially the PL BKB. They are feeling very pressured right now.
Well, time lapse being drawn out. I mean, NewBee is doing the right thing for pressing it because they have the Deso, they have the Aegis.
They're good siege lineup with the Leshrack as well as the Deso Weaver.
Leshrack hasn't been actually going up to the tower to Edict as much, which I guess when you're, having the Shadow Demon Soul Catcher into Laguna, that is very scary to go up against, so.
I mean, this is where it really starts. You don't have that Bat Rider, Clockwork, Storm, just even like a Shaker on the EP squad. Shackle is just not a reliable way to slow down the push. Yep. NewBee gonna take another freebie. This is looking easy for them right now.
I see what you did there, man.
Yeah.
Did you
Did I mean it?
No, did you
Plot
is that on the spot or is it
it's a canned line. I've been saving it for months.
Yeah. Choosing the wrong game to use it on, man, because I'm not sure if they got the Aegis. All right, Shaker looks like he's gonna go down as well. Pretty good fight.
There's a hook, a nice one. Goes in, connects on 2. Requiem coming out for now. Le also taking heavy damage here. Fun starts to get in nice and close. They weren't fully ready for this BKB. They'll Phantom Rush in onto 456. Might get him as well. Got a doppelganger over the cliff. Continues pursuit. Piao is here doing what damage he can. They have another purge. They'll get a secondary kill. Ends up being a 2-for-3 exchange, but a couple big BKB charges did get popped. They also got rid of the Aegis. Now the Lina dies, make it a 3-for-3. Rubik likely to be next. It's going to quickly turn into a potential 1v1 here. His old chicken also drops low, but Piao is going to have to give up pursuit. So in the end, 4-for-3. Aegis also claimed. Very nice fight there coming out from EP.
Yeah, Shaker was caught, I think, down with the fissure because he was using it to farm, and his blink on CD. So essentially, it was -1 hero, even though Shaker was in the fight to begin with. And also, I think Piao chased to kill the PL a lot, and I don't think that's what you need to do with Weaver in fights like these. You need to actually kill the Lina immediately, or kill the supports that you can, and then go to the Shadow Fiend, because Shadow Fiend can't deal with the Weaver at this point. And you just, you know, essentially you can't do anything to the PL. You try to kill his team faster than PL is killing your team.
Because EP, and I feel like just to follow up a little, we're going to see PL march in mid. Does he look to go here? Doesn't look like it. Because he was able to force them to buy the Sandra Nyasha and the BKB on the Shadow Fiend and PL respectively, I feel like EP, they've given NewBee like an extra easily like 10 to 15 minutes of just farm time, you know, time that they can just look to take it later. And I guess at this point if that PL is magically 6-slotted, I think it's a very scary game for NewBee, because all they have to deal with the illusions like on a regular basis is Leshrac. Echo Slam if you get a great initiation. But that's going to be a very long way off because of this build-up from Fan.
At the same time, though, when you build BKB items, or items like BKB and SNY, you expect to win that next fight, and they did.
Yeah.
Thanks to a lucky smoke gank. So
that is a good point. 5-3, counting the Aegis.
There we go.
There's the Echo. Gonna find old chicken off the bat. Fissure follow up. The hook comes over the top, looking to isolate the backline. Supports it, prevents Lei from getting in nice and close to try and save his precious Shadow Fiend, who is still surviving on the front of this fight. He got off the Requiem, finally explodes, but he gets off the Death Requiem as well. Very sustainable in the fight in the end, and ends up being a Shadow Fiend for a Clock and a Rubik for a Shadow Demon, so a slight win there for NewBee Youth. But
where's the Weaver and all of that? I'm not sure if was he even.
He was still pushing bottom. So
okay, so that was a 4v5.
That is definitely a win for NewBee Youth. But it looks like it could have even been worse. That Shadow Fiend survived for ages.
Yeah, it was thanks to that fissure and a perfect cog. It just blocked off the entire lane, and well, you can't really help Shadow Fiend.
Suddenly, Weaver almost has an MKB. This is a big item versus 2 Agi carries.
Yeah.
As well as the Wind Ranger.
Also, just to kind of talk about the trades that we've been seeing, like all of these skirmishes, we see like, you know, 2 supports dying on one side, 2 support dying the other side, but NewBee supports, they have what they need already. Shaker Blink being the big one. Rubik getting 4 staff, you know, he's pretty content with what he has.
He's into luxury items at this point.
Yeah. Whereas the EP support, I feel like they need, like, against a Clockwork, you just need 4 staffs. Obviously, Lina Yules is very good. I'm going to have to argue that, well,
having double force is
very
very legitimate against Clock, because you don't know the Wind Ranger is going to be in position to force someone out.
Yeah.
You get 2 or 3, and you're pretty much guaranteed 1 hero will be in the neighborhood. But yeah, I would like to see them go back for an additional 4 staff, be it the Shadow Demon, they
just don't have gold.
Perhaps.
I think at this point, Lina and SC just going to give any farm that comes to their side of the map to the cores. They can't farm the jungle as effectively because NewBee's in there. And they're just scared overall.
We did see the Ags come out of Wind Ranger. Hasn't really amounted to much. It's not really there's not like one super hold that thought. Hook comes in onto old chicken, gets disrupted though. Very nicely done by Lei, helps to keep him alive. BKB coming out now, looking for the Requiem. It does decent damage to multiple heroes, but doesn't bring anyone down. Meanwhile, Weaver just going hard on the backlines, and the key missing component is this PL. Off split pushing top right now, while NewBee are taking the fight straight onto EP.
Yeah, perfect example where catch matters, and no defensive force have to push that Shadow Fiend out, so he's forced to BKB TP, and the rest of the team just got picked off. So yeah, I really like the way they're playing. You know, earlier we've been saying that some of these less experienced Chinese team not really understanding how the draft is really fully operating. I feel like NewBee's got a very good grasp of what this draft can do and needs to do, and they're doing it.
It seemed like they had a lot of confidence that they could play from behind. Piao does get shackled here to start things off. That's going to make life a little trickier. Gets forced after on. Time lapse is out. Phantom Rush going out from Fun. They had forced out his BKB. May even be an opportunity for NewBee Youth to go with this next wave.
I think you back off now. You got some decent damage on the tower, and they were really only pushing because I think Lina was dead.
Yeah, but now they're doing the fake back. There is no...
The Weaver is shown, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Are they gonna
and now the rocket comes out straight down the lane, so not sure they really have the element of surprise, but they may just go anyway.
The Shadow Fiend has BKB backup because he has backup as well, so...
Yeah, the PL BKB might still be cooling down, but it's going to come up fairly soon at this point. 40 seconds and counting. If they wait for the next wave, it's pretty much ready. EP also have good spam in their own right. We talked a lot about NewBee spam. You've got Power Shot, Lina's double nuke, PL Illusion, Shadow Poison, Raises. It's a good game honestly for both teams to consider a pipe at some point or mass BKBs if they really want to break that high ground.
Yep. Well, actually, I think
there's also no field, which is quite
nice. No field is the thing. Free pipe, sort of.
Level 3 already. It got a bit of a buff in 6.8.
I think it's actually one of the bigger buffs. Perhaps the reason why we see some of these teams pick up Rubik so early.
Yeah.
Although
with it affecting creeps, of course. Now.
Yeah. Although you could see that I don't think the Rubik has had much of an impact this game, right? It's not like there's any big spells that he can steal.
No, we've seen him steal. Shackle Shot is one of the big ones. I've seen the Shadow Fiend raise. They are going to find the Shaker. Shackle coming through as well.
His Blink's on cooldown again. I think he's been using Blink to move, and it's cost him 2 deaths so far.
It has cost. Also, just not great vision up for NewBee Youth right now. They did. I believe someone picked up a gem just a moment ago.
Roche unluckily not spawning. Or luckily, depending on which side you're.
Well, now we know which side you're on.
I'm definitely on the NewBee side because, EP is definitely the team that you expect to win, right? Always cheering for the underdog.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like in general with the China qualifier, it's just there's so little data on these teams in this patch and with their finalized rosters that, I mean, honestly, it's only HGT, eHome, and who are looking like they're solid favorites to move on.
Yeah.
And even they had some shaky games today.
I think judging on how day one is looking, I feel like the Chinese qualifier is fairly open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously eHome is standing very strong, but who knows in the best of 5 what's going to happen, assuming eHome even makes it there.
Of course, the top 2 teams from each group do get to go to the playoffs. Top 2 from that go to TI. First is a qualified team, second is a wild card. Oh, what a hook by 456. He goes downtown to try and isolate this Wind Ranger. TP out, Finger off the mark, and with that, the battery assault clips him from around the tree line. Might be enough for the kill. Pew pew.
You push off of
goes the Deso.
Yeah, you just go down the bottom lane. There's no pressure on the other lanes.
There's a buyback. Oh, they also may be looking to check Roshan.
Ooh, that's a very early buyback.
They do not want to give up this Roche, but honestly, I mean, the thing is, NewBee could just go for another kill in a few moments with the hook.
That is true. They didn't expend too much. Here comes the Weaver.
Whoa,
look at the damage output. He's down to half instantaneously. Mech being forced out. I'm not sure if they want to fight, though.
That is a completed Scotty coming very soon. Pretty big item for a fan. Oh, Manta style, and then the makings of a Scotty. I guess for the Shadow Fiend. Yeah, so Shadow Fiend Scotty, Manta PL then. But 2 pretty big carry items coming out here. And I think as bad as it's looked for EP in terms of having an early lead, not really pushing it, they still have a strong late game, and they may just be looking to farm this one up a bit more. Old Chicken in the middle of nowhere, basically, trying to go blow for blow with MK. The Echo does come out, bringing the PL down below half HP, but not finishing him off just yet. Now MK on the way out. They're going to finish off 4-5-6, and Piao in the meanwhile trying to do battle with Fan. Time-lapsing back. He's still BKB. Shackle coming through. It does connect. They're going to get the Weaver. Massive takedown, but Lashrak is here to save the day, perhaps. Tries to jump away. Can't succeed. 3 for 3. And even exchange as far as kills go. Core-wise, it looks like it was 2 carries going down, 1 for each team, and 2 supports for EP, an off-lane clock for NewBee Youth, and well, when they're down like this, clear win for EP.
Yeah, we've been bragging on the fact that you don't have enough stuns, but the one stun that they had, they used it on the Weaver, got the crucial kill. So.
And at some point, this team does get a Hex. I mean, it may be 15, 20 minutes, but if the game goes super late, at some point you get a Hex, and then I think things get a lot trickier for NewBee Youth.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they should have a Hex by now on the Wind Ranger. if he didn't go for the Aghanims, and those mid-game fight would have been much easier.
And it does not feel like the Axe has had any impact at all.
No, like you're not actually getting a full focus fire off, or
he hasn't solo.
Tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
More for your money.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Immortality.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
No, but
Yeah,
it's
I
a
wouldn't engage-
big swing of
Yeah.
moments.
being swing up the other direction. And I think one of the few games that you're going to see the Go graph go up and down. Are we back in?
We are back.
Okay,
in.
they lost the racks.
All right, melee racks down.
All right, the important thing is never seen on screen.
Welcome to your TI5 qualifier coverage.
Yeah, can I see the Go graph to see what's... All right.
You may.
Yeah. Big swing back.
10,000 gold swing? Is that what I'm seeing? Yeesh. One Roche fight, basically. Do they still have the Aegis? They do on the Shadow Fiend. Oh man, that's big. He already completed Scotty. I think it was 4 or 5 minutes ago. 6k gold now with the Aegis. This is getting close to your late game Shadow Fiend stats. They have 5k gold on 3 heroes, all of the core. So they basically have a Hexo Wind Ranger if they want it. Shadow Fiend with that next damage item. I guess at this point you probably don't bother with Butterfly because there's already an MKB, so maybe it just gets like a... I mean, hell, he could get a Hex if he wanted to, or barring that, just a Daedalus or MKB of his own.
I mean, actually, I really like SNY early as an item for a lot of heroes in this patch because normally when you get SNY in the older patch, you're more or less crippled in the late game because it's just not that good as a late game item. But now you could do Manta and Brick if you want to. I don't think he will do that, but that's also one of the options. I think he'll get a damage item like you said, though.
And the Sweaver has a nice inventory, but it does feel like he's starting to fall off as far as his impact in the team fights. And the supports are starting to get their items as well, it looks like. Shadow Demon up to a healthy 5.3k net worth. It was like 2.8 before the lag began. Oh, they found the Shaker. Chucks out the Fissure to no avail. They lose their precious team fight carry. Or support, rather. And now EP are going to look to press down the top lane. We've got 8k gold on the Shadow Fiend. I mean, buy something, man. This is getting to Mushi status.
I mean, one thing he could be playing for is having that 3 life in the next fight.
Mm-hmm.
The Aegis, the BOT.
But
the
even
buyback.
then, you can at least start to build something here.
Yeah, AC. Just get tanky.
That's a good item. Deso on Weaver. You've got the Swarm already. Great for sieging. And they already have the BKBs to deal with the Leshrac. Like, if he's surviving through your BKBs to kill you, and then I feel like it's just because NewBee's outplayed them anyway.
Yeah.
So that's where I do really like the AC as a pickup.
Here comes the push.
Hookshot comes in. They are going to find Old Chicken. They want to force out his BKB and then just walk away, but they can't quite do it. Weaver even laying into him, doing what damage he can. The focus fire's been going this whole time. Wind Ranger, the siege engine in front, but bottom lane is where Leshrac is busy on the split push. He's brought the towers down and now looks to work on the racks. TP out by LT, barely going to make it, it looks like. Back to the base. In the meantime, they have isolated that. Leshrac has the BKB, TP out. They're going to go to work with right clicks. He tries to run. He can't. The Requiem gonna.
What is this Bloodstone charge? Because respawn time has been pretty high.
This gets interesting now. You've got BOT. Round in late game looking for openings. Who's a good split pusher. It's starting to feel like EP are going to win most of the team fights unless there's a really big Echo Slam. But NewBee Youth are just kind of pulling them apart with the Rat Dota.
Yeah. BKB now up on the... No, BKB has been up. And there's a Hex. Lincoln's being broken. There's a Hex being used, but he is still moving really fast out of there. Should be able to make it out just fine.
Yeah, that does show the potential here for EP, though. With the Hex, that changes things if they find the right opening. Just got the Sakuchi off. If he doesn't, he probably dies there. So.
Oh, he definitely dies.
Yeah. This is where maybe Weaver wants to go for a tank item, or perhaps is just going to count on his hasty reactions to get off that BKB, but... If he doesn't go for something like a Scotty or a Heart here, he will die to a Shackle Hex. Yeah, we're going to settle into a farming rhythm, it seems. EP looking to clear out the lanes. All the lanes except for mid, past, or, well, not past the river, but pushing out a bit, I should say. It's been a close game, despite the lag on our end. Very back and forth from both teams.
That's a pretty big pickup on the Shadow Demon. He got the Ghost Scepter, which makes him, you know, a lot more resilient. He's got a Blink as well. So that's the initiation we've been looking for lacking. That's lacking on NewBee. Also Blink, and then you could use one of your poisons when they're disrupted. And that will cancel the Blink Dagger from letting them run away. So that's really good against the Earthshaker. Will force Leshrac to pop his BKB. So really like those pickup.
They're going to smoke here. Looks like they want to take a fight. NewBee, most of their successful engagements have been on the back of a nice hook shot initiation. Are they going to find one that suits them here? Shadow Fiend, not really the hero you want to go on at this point. You're looking for the Shadow Demon, maybe even the Lina.
I mean, those are the only two, right? Shadow Demon could disrupt himself, in theory. Same thing with Yules on Lina. So technically, they don't really have a good target to go on. Maybe the best thing to go on is like Shadow Fiend and force him to BKB, but I think with the items that he has, he feels very confident just holding that BKB at least for a little while. He's got 3k health, up for almost 35 armor, so...
And he is doing work on this tower right now, bottom lane. Old Chicken is not to be thwarted so easily. They're bringing in Leshrac from the side, but guess who's waiting? It's the Ginger Lady. Trying to scout him out. Piano is not going to be able to defend the tower. Fissure isolates land the tree line, but there's just no way to follow this up. So they're going to take the tower for EP. The Energy Pacemaker squad now barreling down bottom. They've already got one melee Rex. They want to make it multiple. And the nice thing is they're pushing out the one lane where they already got a ranged Rex taken down by NewBee Youth. They continue to press their way in, searching for 2 lanes Rex. Should they get it freely, they're going to be in a lot of trouble on the NewBee Youth side. There was a hook shot, but Lei able to jump himself away. In comes the Shaker as well, looking for the big Echo Slam. It looks like Fan might have been able to dodge it with a Doppelganger. He retreats out for now, surviving with Old Chicken. Together, they're taking a lot of heroes down. SCCC, though, doing the real heavy lifting. An Ultra Kill comes out for him. 5 heroes dead. Buyback on the Shadow Fiend all of a sudden. And if he dies again, that could just end up costing him an entire 2 lanes of Rex.
Yeah, he was teleporting in, and then he was like, oh, wait, this is not the fight I want to be at, but that's buyback.
That is a 7K cold swing.
Yeah, to be fair, I think the Shadow Fiend would have had to buy back anyways, because NewBee was going to push the other direction to force the buyback.
So it was really laggy, but it looked like they hooked the Shadow Demon. He force-staffed himself away, so he didn't even die off the bat. Shaker went in with an Echo. It looked like PL Doppelganger dodged it because it looked like he was at full health. Shadow Fiend got off his BKB, and then they just got massacred by Leshrac. Yeah, because their BKBs are so low at this point.
The key thing was that the BKBs were low, so the Echo gave them that kind of the moment of the stun that they needed. And Leshrac, the Blink Dagger is huge in the sense that he just skipped PL and Shadow Fiend and just went and murdered the backline support.
This late game Leshrac, man, I keep on underestimating just how much he brings to the table, and I feel like NewBee Youth at this point are feeling confident that they don't even need to win now, but they're going to try for it.
Yes,
they go in with the lift, the fissure follow-up, they start melting their way through him, almost bringing that Shadow Fiend down to half HP off the bat. Now the hook comes out onto Lina, forcing her out of the fight. Clock going to push himself away after popping the blade now. Old Chicken holds the line for now. They'll lose one hero. The Clockwork, actually the Leshrac also falling. Big overextension from NewBee, and now we go right back the other way. Remember, Old Chicken, I believe it was, did buy back in the last fight, so they still have to be a bit careful here.
Yeah, the big difference here is that Shadow Fiend does have lifesteal in this fight, whereas he did not have it in the last fight. And the lifesteal, if he gets to upgrade his Satanic a little bit later, he's going to be a big problem. Because generally how NewBee is fighting these fights is you kill everybody else first, and then you go back to the Shadow Fiend. But Shadow Fiend cannot be ignored for that long of a time, and if he's going to be able to sustain himself now with the BKB and Satanic, then I'm not sure if NewBee can actually win fights now.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the same thing it has all game, it feels like, which is just getting the superior initiation. They've had it in so many cases. Lep is perched on the high ground here as they start to work on the Roshan. NewBee Youth have double buyback available, but they don't want to blow it. EP trying to take this Rockman down, and they will get the Aegis onto the Phantom Lancer of all heroes. Very nice for them. Denying it to Leshrac, also quite a big deal. Lina will suddenly become the courier, the helm of the Dominator. Yeah. The helmet bearer.
Pretty big demotion, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, she's still working. She's actually got Ags if she wants it, but may want to save for that buyback first. Ags is pretty big here, though. I feel like there's been a lot of fights where Piao kind of skates away on like a 3rd HP, where maybe Alina being able to pierce his magic immunity would have changed the course of the fight. Leshrac at this point, Alina Ags is about 1/3 of his health.
Yeah.
This could be a very game-changing item for EP.
Also, the HP is very well warranted against Leshrac defensively, you know. You're going to tank up a bit.
Well, for now, Lina going to buy a fresh gem, it appears. Wants to make sure they have map control.
Interesting that she bought it, because she would have had Aghanims, but she's saving for buyback, and Shadow Demon is pull. Blink! So there's that catch, more of that catch.
So now they have Blink, Force, Hex, with the Wind Run, obviously. That is a one-man ganking crew.
Well, no blink on him.
Oh,
but
sorry.
Blink on SD, so they could set something up. Aghanims on Rubik.
What is there to steal that's there's Lina ult is probably the big one here. Shadow Demon ult, I guess.
Yeah, if you could get Demonic Purge.
What was the change in the latest patch for Demonic Purge?
You get break. But what are you actually breaking? Can you break Necromastery and make him lose 60 damage? Like
Juxtapose?
No. Like, can you break Necromastery? Can you break the Shadow Fiend Aura? I'm not sure. Again, but none of these are like the big things that you do want to break.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's
Am I missing a big mechanic interaction here?
Well, the PL passives, right? Those are pretty big.
I guess.
If he steals Demonic Purge and he's got the Ags.
It's just...
Poison. I mean, there's a lot of really
That's amazing
trash
steal.
cat
LD.
spells.
Double damage.
It may all be for naught if the PL can.
That should help.
Octarine. I definitely think.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Illusion.
The beautiful thing about this hero.
I'll take that.
Brain.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, but
Boom! There it goes. And it's off.
Yeah, the blade does help you just split.
Rock it on. Geared up for revenge.
but also cannot confirm.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks is falling.
The impurities unite in me.
Extinguished. Shuttle and lower. Incoming.
You merge with the impurities. Triple kill! A tithe to the impurities.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Another is always ready.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
My spawn remains. Rest now, and more of you.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Regeneration. In your face. Do it with flair. A chink in my armor.
Mere coin?
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Mortality.
Money to burn.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant victory. Radiant's ancient is under attack.